Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Venkat Avasarala on the line, and he's managing principal and founder of Stryker Properties. Venkat, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, Venkat. So that is a fancy background you have over there. So I see the developments. I'm excited to get into what you're doing over at Stryker Properties and in our overall topic. So we'll talk about, busy professionals and how they can access real estate. So we got a lot to cover today. But just to get us kicked off, we'll start this show like we start them all with our signature question. So Venkat, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. So that's our mission here. Venkat, what mission matters to you?
My primary mission is to help busy professionals build wealth and realize their dreams. That's it.
That's awesome. And so love bringing on mission-based entrepreneurs and executives to talk more about what they do and really how they're providing value. I mean, because that's what it's all about here. So maybe just to get us started, prior to starting Stryker Properties, like how did you get started really on this journey into real estate?
So I've been doing real estate. I started with single family back in 2007, just before the cusp of the recession. Stayed low all during the Great Recession, and right after the Great Recession around 2012, I started doing single family. But quickly by 2015, I hit the ceiling on the number of Fannie Mae loans that you can get to acquire all these properties. And also I clearly saw that, it's getting really hard to scale. So that is where Stryker was born from. I was a very busy working professional. I'm just trying to build wealth for me and my family. To meet my commitments, right? And to take care of my family now and to the future. And I decided that I'm not going to just depend on my W-2 job. Job's great, but we need to have further security is what I quickly realized. And I was just huffing and puffing, trying to locate these single family properties and try to deal with those tenants. It was a hassle, but at least the time was good at the time. I mean, the homes were selling for dirt cheap. I'm glad that I did what I did back then, but I cannot replicate that today. I mean, the asset prices are through the roof. So you need much more finesse to do well in real estate right now. Back then it was easy, but still it's a lot of labor, right? I burn my nights, my weekends, and no rest. A tenant calls me in the middle of the night, I got to answer that, right? So I went through all the phase, and that is where this fire has born in me is like, look, I'm sure that there are so many people who are in the same boat, but maybe they have more family commitments. They can't even able to do what I'm doing. There got to be a better way. There definitely has to be a better way. And quickly the answer dawned upon me where I realized that you got to leverage other people's time. Right? We cannot do it all ourselves. And we're not good at everything that we do, right? I mean, why try, right? Why try to do everything ourselves? So that is when I got into commercial real estate in 2016. And that is when I founded Stryker to do the commercial projects, mostly apartments, but I'm doing construction deals, I'm doing land development deals, all the while helping people like me, just like me, who was once struggling to build wealth apart from their W-2 job, but just don't have time or means to do that.
That's awesome. And if you could go back and like let's take you to the early days. I know it's been a while, but if you could go back and tell that Venkat that was like just getting started in real estate, like obviously we all learn from the ups and the downs and the sideways and mistakes happen. But if you could go back and give yourself some advice for when you were first starting, what kind of things would you say?
So what I would have said is, like, knowing what I know right now, I
Yeah.
would have told myself to be more aggressive.
Mm,
Again, I grew up in a very conservative background. We're
mhm.
not like middle class people, right?
Yeah.
So, very conservative, right? Very conservative. And we worry about losing the principal, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that always weighs on our every investment decision. But what I did not see was to jumping into commercial real estate soon.
Mm,
All the single family properties I bought, I'm selling them for like 2x, 3x,
yeah.
4x what I paid. That's great.
Yeah.
What if I had bought 100 unit property and you would have seen a
Yeah.
big appreciation per unit times 100 and a few properties like that. So both me and my investors would have done well. So that is
Mhm.
what I would have told myself, that be more aggressive back in 2012,
Mhm.
coming out of the recession, and also skip the single family and go to commercial real estate. That is what I would
Yeah.
have told myself.
Man, that's great advice. And I think about when I bought, I bought my first like apartments, a small one in 2000 and what was it, 2009, I think. Yeah, 2009, right after. And this was not timing at all. I just happened to be a couple of years into a good job and things like that. So I got lucky on that. And again, not looking at market cycles, but man, if I could go back and tell myself the same thing, I would have said exactly what you did. I would have been real
Absolutely.
aggressive, and I would have learned how to be more value to more people, and thinking about like how to help solve problems for others as well. And we would have all done better. And so speaking of that, there's this very specific type of individual that you work with often. And it's really, I like to say, like you're kind of working with yourself, like where you
Yeah.
started at, where you are really, a busy professional, you're juggling a lot of things, you're trying to figure it out, you're picking up phones and you're thinking like, yeah, like this isn't necessarily going to work. I feel like a lot of busy professionals, they
Yes.
hear things like that and they're told this and they're kind of sold this that it has to be that way. So they stay away from maybe real estate altogether. They think, oh, I just got to put more money in my 401k, or oh, I just have to buy stocks and bonds, and because I can push a button on my computer, it's easy, it's done, I don't have to think about it. But they don't think about maybe some of the leverage or some of the other things, and they're like, I don't have time to go out and start looking for property. I don't have I don't know. I don't want to learn another profession, so to speak. What's your experience with, I guess, let's call it the busy professional dilemma. There you go. Let's call it that. Like, what's your experience working with individuals like that?
Yes, I mean, definitely, right? I mean, like I said, I used to be one of them before I gave up my job, my W-2 job back in 2018. But it's just so much noise, right? I mean, it's so much noise. Again, putting myself in a W-2, I got to give my 40 hours just to keep the job and do well for them,
Yeah.
not just to keep the job, right? And do well there and thrive in that and have a work satisfaction and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then what does that really leave? The weekends and the nights and all that. So you are taking away from family. There is no ifs and buts about it. You are taking the time that you are supposed to give to your family to look at so much noise, right? I mean, you look at stock, crypto, everybody's trying to do the same thing. They want to secure the future. What if I lose this W-2 job? Or what if this is not enough?
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody have kids, everybody wants their kids to do well. They want to help their kids to put them through the college or help with their down payment on their first house or something,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, every father, every mother thinks like that.
Yeah.
Well, what if it's not enough? I mean, they all want the same thing. They want to secure their future, provide more for their family, and meet all their obligations and commitments. That's all that is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you get there, right? And how do you get there is the big question.
Mm-hmm.
And without time and clarity and
Yeah.
focus, it's very easy to fumble, right? I mean, I did it, right? When I started, I didn't start in real estate. I went into stocks and I did it for like 4 years.
Wow.
Sometimes it looks like I make money, sometimes I lose, but at the end of the day, when I look at the tally up, I lose a few $1,000s. And I quickly dawned upon me, you know what? I'm not good at it. I'm not going to do this, right? I'm not going to do this. The greed and the fear, right? That is what interferes with your judgment process, and you need special skill set and all that. And I quickly realized that's not me. right?
Yeah.
So I need something much more tangible where I can project I cannot, let's say I buy Apple stock. I cannot project where it will be in 5 years from now, right? But real estate has a lot of history, right? I mean, a lot of history, and with the rent growth and all that, with the sophisticated data available, we can fairly project, right? I'm much more happy with something that I can project with a reasonable certainty than just put a candle in the wind kind of thing, you know? So that is the dilemma that everybody has. Okay, where do I go from here? So what brought home to me was these single families when I bought them. And once I start selling one or two of them, right? I mean, after keeping it a few years, the returns that I was getting is something what I was getting doing passive investments in commercial properties also. So then it dawned upon me, look, I mean, I don't have to do all that to get this. Because here, passively, I'm able to get the same thing. Because ROI, people thinks that, okay, what is the dividend or the return that you get back divided by number of dollars that you put in. But it's more than that. It's what you get back divided by what you put in plus hassle, right? So if you want to go do single family over the lifetime of that single family over 3-4 years, let's say you spent 50 hours on it, and let's say you make $100,000, right? So your time is worth at least $50 an hour. Let's say if you put in 100 hours times 50. So you put another $5,000 in labor and the stress that you has to go through. And once you calculate ROI that way, you'll quickly see what I'm talking about, right? And we have access to better collectively with my investors. So let's say if I want to go buy these properties, with my own resources, I cannot take down a 200, 300 unit property. I can't. But if my investors comes along with it, we can go together, take it down, and we'll have a better opportunity of investing where we can leverage time from property management, their expertise. I don't need to be expert in every aspect of the business. So we can leverage people. Now we are doing things at scale. So that's the big idea about actually pooling investors and going into the deals in and out with investors.
Which it makes sense. It really is a win-win scenario. So now, there's some people watching right now that they're thinking, okay, like this makes sense. And so another thing that people may do is they may kind of rush in, like they're not necessarily completely aware or understand how things work. Like, what would be your advice for somebody that's watching this in terms of maybe their due diligence or like what's going to make sense for them?
See, one thing I want to say is like in real estate community, 90% of the people, I'm conservatively putting 90% of the people. If you like what they're doing, if you're inspired by what they're doing, if you're curious about what they're doing, you like what they're doing, you reach out to them and tell them how you feel and request for a Zoom call. Now you can request for a Zoom call. You don't even have to ask them to come to Starbucks or something and cost them time, right? So when you reach out to them, I mean, now right? There's so many ways you can reach out to people. Back then, you either have their cell phone number or you don't, right? But now you have like 20 different ways to get to the people, right? So nobody have any excuse to reach out to the people. So reach out to them and talk to them and learn. I'm not saying beat up that 1% for like next 10 hours and try to get everything out of it, but have patience, do your own reading, and be very careful on whose advice that you're taking, right? I mean, there's so many people doling out free advice and some people give advice for free also. But look what their track record is, how they have conducted themselves, how they have performed, how many people benefited out of the help. If somebody, like if you're picking a mentor who you have to pay, that's good. But see what is actually happening. I mean, qualify the people who you are giving advice from. But that is what I would say, that be curious, talk to people. And I'm telling you, yesterday I was talking to somebody, hey, I want to buy a property in Alabama, but I don't know how to get there. It's like, so-and-so person. Yeah, I know him. Yeah, he does deals in Alabama. Did you call him? It's like, no, it didn't occur to me. It's like, why? I mean, you should, right? So talk to people, reach out to them, and slowly but surely build your knowledge rather than jumping into something. That's the another side of the commercial real estate, right? For somebody who's new to this game all by themselves. They can go there. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it's rocket science, but it's fairly complex. I mean, the chances of you making mistakes is pretty high, right? Pretty high. And it's not very forgiving. It's not forgiving. Let's say you buy a single family property and, well, things didn't work out. Value went down. It's okay. You wait long enough, it's going to come back and it's all your money. But when you go to take down these big commercial properties, and especially if you bring in other people's money, you cannot learn on the job. You just cannot.
No.
Right? So the best way is to partner with somebody who have done it so many times. And that is how you mitigate risk. I'm not saying risk becomes zero, but it becomes very close to zero if you go with somebody, if you partner with somebody, or if you passively invest with somebody, or you JV with somebody who have done it so many times before.
That's awesome. So let's go further into, speaking of done it before, let's go into Stryker Properties. So tell us a little bit more about the company.
Sure. So like I mentioned before, right, we started in 2016, and that was the time to hone in on the B and C class apartments. Now, what are these? These are apartment complexes built in 60s, 70s, 80s. And those are the ones that I focus primarily in DFW, Phoenix, and Colorado. Basically, that is what I've been doing. And I have completed 12 projects so far, meaning I bought them, rehab them, and sold them, and give the investors money, their original money, and the returns back to them, right? So 12 projects so far. And that's about $300 million in transactions.
Wow.
But lately, what I have also been doing is ground up construction. Right. Again, I'm primarily focusing on apartments, but I'm doing a retail deal, whatever makes sense. Right. And then finally, land development. So buying a piece of raw land, actually work with city, put the zoning on it, chop it up into pieces and selling it. I'm doing everything with my investors. I mean, my investors trusted me and gave me, by the end of the year, I'll be at 100 million. Right now, about 90 million over the years, of course. Right. And I don't do, digital marketing and all that. I didn't have to, because I had access to investors who keep me, who were funding my deals in a very timely manner, so that I didn't have to go reach out to that. And I'm happy with where I am. But those are the kind of projects that we are doing. And if you ask me, like, why, why can't you just keep doing B and C class apartments? If that's what you started doing. See, the thing is, in real estate, or anything for that matter, right? So let's take stocks, right? So stocks, people used to say that, you got to buy General Motors, General Electric, Ford, IBM, Microsoft. Who's saying that now? Now Kathy Woods comes along and say that, look, those value stocks are traps. They are costing that much. You can buy them cheap like that because that's all they're worth. They're ripe for disruption. So she has a totally different mindset, right? In the last 20 years that I have been focusing on stock markets, things change. And I gave you this stock market example, is a lot of people can actually relate to this thing.
For sure.
And the same thing is happening in real estate also, right? So right after recession, all these assets were battered, right? Anything with the word real estate in front of it got killed. Obliterated, right? So coming out of recession, my very first property, it was a 100-unit property in Norman, Oklahoma, right? So I bought it for $35,000 a door.
Wow.
It's a big unit. It's 1,000 square foot unit. Even at that time in 2016, in order to build the same thing, let's say a hurricane came or something came, a tornado came and picked that away. And in order to put it back, it used to cost like $120,000, $130,000 a unit.
Wow.
Now, why is it selling for $35,000 a unit when the replacement cost is so high? So that's the glitch in the matrix, right? That is where the inconsistency, imperfection in the market, right? So you go after that. And then we were quickly in and out, and we bought it for $35 a door. And then we sold it for $45 a door in just a couple of quick 2 years. Had I known that it would keep going up, I would have hung on to it, obviously, right? But I didn't have a crystal ball back then. So sold that. So the point I'm trying to make is, like, at any given point of time, something, then all these other things make the most sense. And right now, today in 2021, ground up development makes the most sense. 5 years back, not so much. Now it does. right? Doesn't mean that we don't need to do value add deals. I'm still doing them in western states in Colorado, Arizona, because those states offer a perfect a combination of things for you to generate cash flow, because the rents are high. Thanks to California, a lot of people moving from California to these western states before they ever come to Texas. And they have high incomes and everything, but the property taxes and insurance is super low in western states, almost all the states. I mean, I don't know any state over there, including California, right? I mean, California has 1% property states compared to Texas, which is 2.75 to 3%, very high property taxes, right? So that's why cash flow properties I'm doing in the western states right now. But development makes most sense right now because it's a confluence of so many things. If you look at 2000, 2010, 2020 census charts, with where it shows which counties gained people versus which counties lost people, if you put all these three slides side by side and see, a small kid can tell us that the rural population is moving to urban. That is what's happening. People could not make their living in that villages or far-flung counties anymore. So they're coming into the cities. The cities are getting bigger, right? So that's undeniable. And now it's putting a strain on the housing supply, right? So that's why the existing, if you try to buy something existing, now I was just talking to a broker this morning, and they're saying that in Dallas, even C-class properties are trading at 4 cap right now, right? Wow. So there is insatiable demand for buying a property, existing property, right? Everybody wants those, and we don't have enough to go buy. But I'd rather build at a 7 cap or a 6.5 cap and sell it to you for 4 cap than buying a property from you at 4 cap and taking a lot of risk. So for me, construction is where I can generate higher returns for my investors. Now, I grant you that there is no cash flow, but people who are buying at 4 cap, I don't know what cash flow they are generating. Interest rate is at 3.5 to 4%. They're buying at 4%. So if they're saying that they're generating 8% cash flow, I would be like stunned, right? I mean, because that's next to impossible. So if there is no cash flow per se now, why not build? Why not build and generate higher returns for my investors? And at the same time, let's say, let me play devil's advocate. 2008 rerun happened again, all over again. Well, I'm building for 6.5 to 7 cap, and my cost to build something is 165, and I plan to sell it for 220, 230 a door, to 220 to 230,000 dollars a door. Now, I rather build at 175, 160, 170, 170. And if something happens, I have my asset at that price rather than going out and buying at 220. And I don't know what's going to happen to me if I pay that price and recession comes in. And the leverages are really good in construction. The interest rates are rock bottom. I'm telling you, the ground up construction and most of these things extend to land also. Land, the thing about land is, it's easy to buy something for, let's say, $2 a foot, put zoning on it and sell it for $4 a foot and make a windfall for investors, right? That's hard to do it with something like existing or even construction, but land is much more lucrative. So that's why at any given time, you have to see what makes most sense and provides a better risk to reward ratio for your investors, because it's not all my money. Right. So my risk appetite is a collective risk appetite of my investors. Right? I have to think like that. And we are ambitious, right? My investors are not looking for 2, 3, 4% a year. If they want that, they'll buy a dividend stock. They come to me because they want much higher, 15 to 20 IRRs. That is what they're looking for. So we are not, we will take risk, but it has to be a good risk reward ratio. And currently, construction and land development gives you that.
Tell me a little bit more about the areas. So you mentioned Phoenix and Colorado, some of the areas that you're working. Let's go a little bit deeper there into what makes these markets so attractive to you.
Absolutely. So let's take Phoenix, right? That's my favorite market, my number one favorite market there. The reason is until 2008, that Phoenix had nothing much to offer. It's desert and cheap housing. Right? Phoenix and its brother, Las Vegas, right? Both of them. They said, you know what, let's flood the market with houses and people maybe come in. How? I mean, people didn't come in there to live. Investors came and they put zero down and bought a bunch of properties.
Yes, they did.
Crashed both the markets, completely obliterated the markets. The prices went down by 55%. Well, Phoenix learned its lesson. It suffered, it struggled quite a bit. And now they start throttling down the supply. It's hard to get anything built over there. So, and thank God it's hard. Otherwise, everybody would do it, right? I mean, they really kept a check on the supply. So the availability of the housing is very limited. But at the same time, if you look at what Phoenix did, the Arizona State University over there, it made tremendous strides by striking deals with all these Fortune 500 companies and said that, look, I can educate these kids whatever I want to, and may or may not be useful to you on day one. Or I'll let you to tell me what do you want me to put in curriculum so that you can use these people and they're productive to you on day one when you hire them. But in exchange, all I ask is at least open office and open this many jobs. Right? So they're the largest university in the country, Arizona State University, which is Phoenix, right? So that completely shifted. That's only one of the measures Mr. Doug Ducey has done, and his predecessors, who's the governor of Arizona. But the other things that they have done is being like super business friendly, giving grants. I mean, and you know the chip shortage, right? The integrated chip shortage. Every big company is opening a shop up there in Phoenix out there. So they're calling it Silicon Desert right now. All this thing in 10 years. It was nobody. Phoenix was nobody back in 2008. But right now they're calling Silicon Desert. Right. So, and people are taking a beeline to Phoenix. And they're coming to Texas, Florida, and all that. But if you look at the percentage wise, what is the current Arizona population versus in migration, the percentage of migration is very high compared to any other state. So we have this, again, a confluence of two good things as a real estate investor, right? I mean, a lot of people with good jobs are coming in and wanting to live in the valley, Phoenix Valley. At the same time, the cities have throttled down the supply for years now. And it reflects in the home prices. It reflects in the rents. Even before COVID, they were growing at 8 to 10% rents for like 2-3 years straight. And there's still no stop of sowing. So that's why I like it. And what brought me to home is the property taxes. In Texas, we have to fight out for our property taxes every year for like 18 months. They send you a notice. It'll shock you. You can't sleep that day. But then you go and then you fight for the next 18 months or maybe settle with the city. I'm sick and tired of doing that. So, and that happens because Texas doesn't have state income tax. So they beat us up pretty hard. So only landlords pay tax in Texas, right? But in Phoenix and Colorado, places like that, where the property taxes are so low. The insurance is very low. In Texas, we are in the Tornado Valley. So we have very high losses and our insurance prices reflect that. But over there, and I brought them up because these are the two very high expenses when you try to operate a commercial property, the taxes and insurance. It can make you or break you. So on a typical C or a B class property in Texas, we see 60% expense ratio, meaning you bring in $1 in rent, you spend 60 cents back on the property before you pay mortgage. That's the expense ratio. In Colorado and Phoenix, that'll be 30 cents. What's not to like? I mean, that's more for my investors as cash flow. So that's why I like those markets. In Colorado, I mean, you know, the tech story over there. It's a really nice market. So those are the two markets I really hone in. I like Utah and Las Vegas too, but these are the two. I cannot be everywhere. I don't want to spread myself too thin either. I want to specialize in certain markets. But for construction, Texas is the best, even with these taxes, insurance and all that, because the absorption is like second to none. So if you build it, they will come. You build a 1,000 unit apartment, you can fill it up. And that happens in Dallas more than anywhere else, right? I mean, as a developer, for construction, you care about that, right? You build something and you want it to be populated so that you can sell it as quickly as possible. So I continue to do construction deals in Dallas and Austin.
It's awesome. Are there any projects you care to talk about? Like anything you're working on right now that you want to talk about?
Again, my mission is to continue as many help as many people as possible. a vast majority, 90% of my investor base is working professionals. They all have college degrees, advanced degrees. Some, most of them are IT people. And then we have some doctors, restaurateurs, business owners, and all that. They are so freaking busy with their day job that they need help, right? So I have 1,000+ investors, and my mission is to help as many people as possible by taking them in and out. And also, I don't believe in like 10, 12, 15-year investments. I don't do that. I don't do opportunity zone. I'm telling you right now, because if your investment horizon is longer, it's hard to predict what's going to happen. I can, with fair certainty, I can tell you what happens in next 6 months to 18 months, maybe 3 years. But if you ask me, hey, Venkat, how will things be in about 5 years or 7 or 10? I don't know. I mean, you see what I'm saying? You will be more and more off. So I'm number one thing is equity preservation. And like Warren Buffett says, there are only 2 rules, right? I mean, don't lose money. And our rule number 2 is to do not forget rule number 1. That's it. Yes. Right? Of course, we want to make returns, but you cannot lose the principle. Then it defeats the whole purpose. So my mission is to help as many people as possible. But one thing I want to appeal to investors is doesn't necessarily have to do with, there's so many good sponsors and syndicators and real estate people out there. Go talk to them, work with them, learn from them, partner with them, but do something. And let me tell you why. Because you see our inflationary economy, right? I mean, everybody wants a home. Right. That's the part of the big part of the American dream, right? Yeah. Home with 2 garages, 2 cars, right? All you have to do is to complete high school and keep a job, and you get all those things. Those days are long gone, right? Now you need a college degree, and even then, you make $100,000 in a market like Colorado. You can't even buy a decent house. True. Things have changed. So my appeal to everybody is, especially working busy professionals, is. I know you care about your future. I know you care about your kids' future. I know you care about your family's future. Yeah. You want to help your family as much as possible, right? I get it. But if you do not invest, and if you do not invest carefully, it becomes, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it becomes very hard to meet those obligations, things that you want to do. Because everything that you care, it's going up in prices. The home you want to buy, they're going gangbusters. I mean, 30% in a year. Come on, right? I mean, it's people's salaries didn't go up by 30%. How come the home prices are going up by 30%? Now, if you want to send your kid to education, do you see the college, how much they're going up every year? Yeah. So if you think that every dollar that you're going to spend on a future home purchase or sending your kids to the school or better yet, helping them put a down payment on a house, if you think that you can make money, save it, and put it in let's say, some savings account, and if you think that money is going to enough, you're up for a rude awakening, because everything that you care and you would want is going very high in prices. And I didn't even talk about healthcare. Of course, everybody needs healthcare. And if you see the healthcare costs, how they are, it's just going through the roof. All I'm saying is keep future in 10 years out, 20 years out, where you want to be, how you want your lifestyle to be, and what it costs you then in those dollars to afford that lifestyle, and see what you're doing today will help you get there or not.
That's awesome.
Without investing, I don't think it's going to be possible.
So Venkat, first off, this has been great. I learned a lot. Big updates on these markets in general, your views on it, and also the benefits for busy professionals to think about, like, increasing their exposure in real estate. I mean, overall, solid arguments, pretty straightforward, and also enjoyed learning your journey going from single families to now hundreds of units. I mean, always great to hear an awesome success story like that. That being said, if somebody's watching this and they want more information on Stryker properties, or they want to connect with you and your team and they want to learn, I mean, what's the best way for people to follow up and to connect?
They can do a few things. I mean, they can go to my website, strykerproperties.com, or they can email me at Venkat, Venkat, at strykerprop.com. I shortened it a bit, strykerprop.com. Or they can reach out to me on my phone number, 281-727-9238. And I say this because I received a lot of help I was never hesitant asking for help. It's my nature to be curious, to talk to people, reach out, to introduce myself. I'm not where I am today without people helping me. Let me tell you that I'm not a genius or anything, not even close. Everything I know is something that I have read somewhere or I have learned from somebody. And that is my give back to people.
Amazing. Love it. Well, Venkat, again, been awesome having you on the show today. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. I hope you learned a lot. I sure did. If you did, don't forget, especially if you're a first-time visitor or a listener, definitely hit that subscribe button. We have many more mission-based entrepreneurs and business owners coming on, and we don't want you to miss a thing. And Venkat, a pleasure as always. Thanks again for coming on.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir.